Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Happy Wednesday. Hope you're doing well. Again, like I said, we are continuing our videos this week. I'm super happy to be back recording. Today we are going to be discussing the MB&F legacy machine Thunderdome. This was released probably 2 weeks back. Unfortunately, I wasn't filming that week, so I couldn't cover it right when it was released. But we are going to give you our initial thoughts. We're going to watch the release video that was released by MB&F, where Max talks about the Thunderdome and give you our initial opinions on the watch. Again, I say this when we do these types of videos, I do not have the MB&F Thunderdome with me, so I'm doing this purely on what I see, what I've read, my opinions on the design. So if you're looking for a video like that, you can click off. I've received a lot of hate on some of the videos where I don't have the watches, so I'm going to tell you at the beginning of the video so you don't waste your time. My message is out there, don't hate me for this. Also, if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and smash that like button. Let's see if we can get to, let's do 30 likes because this is an MB&F video and I absolutely love MB&F, so we should give them a lot of praise. So I've got the video here with me where Max talks about the story behind the legacy machine Thunderdome. Obviously, Life on the Wrist, we like stories behind watches, and that's one of the reasons why we love MB&F so much. So what I think we're gonna do is I'll put up this video onto the screen, I'll react to it, and then we can discuss kind of the basics of the watch, and then give you my initial thoughts on it. So let's cue the video and let's take a look at it.
Thunderdome is one of the most important projects of the story of MB&F.
Obviously.
One of the things which makes me so proud on this project is having brought two of the greatest watchmakers alive.
They really are. I'll
together.
Discuss that in the video.
They have never worked together, and they're so different. On one side, Coudray, on the other side, Kari Voutilainen. One is completely insane. The other one is the epitome of classic
watchmaking. Which is awesome, because that's exactly what
bring
MB&F
those
is.
two incredible energies together. Boom, Thunderdome.
Wow, look at that. Incredible. Good music too for this video.
What Eric created here is a 3-axis, 3-cage, fastest, largest regulator in the history of watchmaking. Wow. One turns in 20 seconds, the other one in 12 seconds, the other one in 8 seconds. It's a whirlwind.
La volonté, c'est que ça aille vite. Le but que je cherchais, c'est que ça soit aéré et visible.
These guys are masters, honestly.
C'est un mélange de différents trucs d'horlogerie qui existent, mais qui n'ont jamais été mis vraiment ensemble, quoi. Ils ont été pris à droite, à gauche, puis mis ensemble, puis ça fait ça.
The base plate is hand guilloché in Kari's workshop.
It's
when you go
visit
Kari's workshop and see how they work, you are sent back to the 19th century. That is what makes my heart beat when I think of watchmaking.
We are doing engine joining in our workshop, and in this case we have a nice surface and dispersal, and like for me the joy is to have a fish scale, and it creates a nice play of the light on the watch.
It's so awesome to see it set into the dial like that, and then obviously into the gear train.
The journey is as important as the result. Bringing together these incredibly talented and wonderful human beings and working so many years so that finally we have this beautiful product in our hands is what makes it worthwhile.
That's so cool, honestly. It's such a cool... Honestly, that's probably one of the best release videos that I've seen from MB&F. Obviously, my favorite watch of all time is the MB&F LM1, but this is such a cool watch. That was such a really cool release video, actually. Ironically, I've only seen snippets of this on Instagram. That was actually the first time I've watched it in its entirety. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the fact that let's just get into my thoughts about this watch, because I think I can voice this kind of within that. So obviously, like Max mentioned in the video, the biggest part of this watch was the fact that he was bringing together two absolutely legendary watchmakers. Ironically, I have a series about legendary watchmakers. Perhaps we should include those two in some of the modern watchmakers who really have changed watchmaking. But that aside, I digress. Back to the Thunderdome. The biggest idea was to bring together two legendary watch makers, Coudray and Kari Voutilainen. They were good friends of Max's. They've worked with him previously on other pieces within the MB&F line and have obviously collaborated for this piece. Again, one of the biggest things about this watch also is the fact that it's the world's fastest triple axis tourbillon that spins, one axis spins in 8 seconds, another axis spins in 12 seconds, and another axis spins in 20 seconds. So the fastest and largest spinning tourbillon ever. So bringing together two absolutely legendary watchmakers and the fastest ever tri-axis tourbillon. So these are, just saying that, just with that said, puts it into perspective how amazing this piece is. Going into the design a little bit, as you probably saw from the video, the case comes in platinum and tantalum. It measures 44 millimeters by 22 millimeters, so it is a large piece, but that's to be expected with MB&F watches. There are 3 mainspring barrels that actually power this watch. It has a 45-hour power reserve. There's a lot of energy being burnt, so 45 hours is actually pretty amazing. The power reserve indicator is actually on the back side of the watch, where you can see the movement of the watch. It actually has a very similar design to MB&F's first ladies watch that they released. I did do a video on that as well. That is called the Flying T, where the dial is slightly tilted so that the viewer can see it, as opposed to having to look down at it horizontally. They can look at it at an angle, and on that dial it has the hours and minutes as the time indicators. Like I said, the power reserve indicator is on the back side of the watch. The dial color, it comes in a couple variations. It comes in a light blue guilloche, which is obviously hand guilloched, like was mentioned in the video. There's also a dark blue guilloche finish, and then there's a aventurine dial, which is kind of like a purple textured dial, which is very cool. So those are kind of the design elements behind the watch. My thoughts, I think it's so cool. I think this actually might be the highest dome that I've actually seen on an MB&F watch. It looks extremely high, but that is obviously because of how large that tri-axis tourbillon is on it, or tri-axis regulator is on it. Also, I like the fact that the bridges are a little bit higher. It gives the watch a little bit more depth, but also draws your eye to the fact that it is such a massive regulating system, and it's what stands out in the watch, not so much the dial. I also love the fact that MB&F went for a record with this watch. This is another example, and this I've said this in a couple of videos, but a lot of the times watchmakers try to, I don't want to say watchmakers, watch companies, I don't want to say are resting on their laurels, or perhaps just not advancing watchmaking, but it almost feels like we're not innovating enough and creating things that come out of our time period. Obviously, there are a lot of companies that are doing that, but creating re-editions, and I love re-editions, but I think there are companies like this that are trying to push watchmaking forward and come up with these new designs and new techniques when it comes to watchmaking and pushing the boundaries. Those are the people who are really going to have a stamp in watchmaking, I think. True, I guess maybe the technical side of watchmaking. So I like the fact that MB&F is trying to push the watchmaking forward here. It's another move to advanced watchmaking by creating a record of the fastest regulating tri-axis regulating system. There are going to be companies that are going to try and beat it, and that's what's exciting about watches. Also, the level of finishing on these on MB&F watches in general, but on this one specifically with Kari and Eric working on it, is obviously bar none. Like they are the time and effort that is put into the finishing of just the dial alone says a lot about the watch. So I really love that. I love MB&F design, so I obviously love this watch. I know it seems like I just praise MB&F watches, but that's what happens when you find something that you truly love. So I absolutely love the watch. This watch is not cheap. It retails for $280,000 US. So not a cheap watch, but an absolutely phenomenal watch to come out. I think there's only 30 in the light blue guilloche, or sorry, 30 in platinum and 10 in tantalum, I want to say, but I may be incorrect there. But I actually loved the fact that I got to watch that video, because you can hear directly from Max how he describes it. He's also an excellent speaker, so he explained it extremely nicely there. there really isn't much more to say about this. I love it. It's an absolutely beautiful piece. So check it out, because just being able to look at it is a cool thing. So if you've made it this far and you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button. It really does help us out. Also, subscribe to our channel if you are new to it. We create videos about watches, so you might as well click the subscribe button. And with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time.